All right, folks, welcome back to What Do You Know with Nick and Devin. I'm Nick.
I'm Devin.
I'm Allie.
Hey, Allie Pryor is with us today. Thank you for coming on the show, Allie.
You're welcome. It took a while for me to get here, so thanks for waiting.
The commute was terrible.
The commute was awful.
Horrifying. But yeah, Allie, thank you for coming on. You're our second guest of the show, which is super exciting. Tell us about yourself.
Well, I'm Allie Pryor. I live here.
Under this table.
Under this table is where I live and spend my time. I am the professional dog wrangler of the What Do You Know podcast with Nick and Devin. I do a bad job of keeping the dogs out of this room because the door doesn't work. And I'm just really excited and nervous to be here.
Don't be nervous. It'll be super cool, super casual.
Cool.
Oh, good. How do you know us?
Gosh.
Yeah. How do you know me, Al?
Well, I am married to Devin, and I met Nick because he's best friends with Devin. What?
That's me being like, yeah.
Oh, I was like, his second best friend?
Yeah.
I don't know what the two.
I really want to set the stature correct here.
You
yeah.
have the top five.
Yeah.
It's like MySpace. We just kept it going.
Right.
Tom's
Most
number
want
one.
number one, but I'm going for two. Going for silver.
There's less drama.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
It's more chill. There's less responsibility being the second best friend.
Absolutely. Tell us about your Christmas sweater, because we're all in.
I made you guys.
Yes.
I did. Well, I originally had a completely different topic prepared, and I was really excited about it, and it was something that I genuinely do know a lot about. I know a lot about this topic now.
I was like, and I know nothing about this
I know nothing
one.
about this. I'm just going to play a video. And then I asked you guys when this episode would be airing, and you guys said December, so I had to do something festive. So then I said, because I had changed my idea, and then you guys went and met on Wednesday, and then Devin said, would you be ready on Sunday? And then so I said, well, if you guys wear Christmas sweaters, I can be ready on Sunday. So I had to.
And we said we'd happily oblige.
Yes,
right?
I had to leverage something there because Devin doesn't really like Christmas. So any time I can strong arm him into being festive is a good time.
How dare you?
I'm a big old Grinch.
Do you know, what do you know about my ringtone? When Devin calls me year-round, it plays the Grinch theme song. And then around this time of the year, I can't listen to 93.9 because it'll play the Grinch. And I, scurry for my phone because I think that something awful has happened and Devin's calling me.
That tracks.
Yeah,
That
it tracks.
yeah.
It tracks. So.
Wait, why are you, is it the capitalism? Is that what it is?
That's a big part of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm all happy, and I'm all down for, the happy feeling you get during Christmas and, the togetherness, being kind to your neighbor, but that should be done all year round. It's mostly just the capitalism of it all that I think it's just become such a, economical, villainous thing where everyone's spending so much money that they usually don't have on something that someone will probably just, throw away.
It's great for the economy, though.
Is it, though? I don't know. I feel and then you're forcing so many people to work instead of spending time with their loved ones. It's
I mean, I'm with you. I think that it, but
Nick wants
it is
people to work more on Christmas.
more capitalism, more money.
Hours on Christmas. But it's fun. It's festive. It's I don't know. Everyone,
It's a
yes, you
pretty
should be
time.
kind year round. Blah 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 blah. But it's I don't know. It's pretty. It's fun. It's snowy.
Yeah,
on
no,
the
I love
lights,
winter.
yeah.
I love winter.
But the only reason things are decorated is because of Christmas. So if you take out all the decorations, it's dreary and goes to.
Oh, I'm
the sun goes
sorry.
down.
Have
It's
you
actually decorated with lights because of spirits, if we want to actually talk about why things are.
Oh,
Does this
shit.
transition into your topic?
No.
Okay.
No.
I was like, what a great segue.
No. Because Christmas wasn't always Christmas.
That's
so
fair,
we got to
right.
think about why our traditions are for Christmas and where they came from before Christmas.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Well, speaking of topics, why don't we transition into what you got for us today?
Okay, perfect. So I said I was going to do a more festive story.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be December when this airs. It is festive in theme. I wouldn't say it's very holly jolly.
Okay. Love it already.
Yeah, exactly.
I am happy.
Great lead up.
It's so my question for you guys is a completely random out of left field question to get things started here. So if you guys had to guess, how many shipwrecks would you say that there are in Lake Michigan? It's completely random before we get into our topic.
I'm gonna go more than I think. So I'm gonna go 250.
I think
250?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's
2.5. 2.5 shipwrecks.
250,000.
Yeah.
$2.50 worth of shipwrecks.
uh-huh.
I think it's closer to like I'm gonna add 1,000 to that. 1,250.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Very Price is Right of you.
Yeah. Well, it's in the entire Lake Michigan. Like Lake Michigan's huge.
No, I know. I'm just saying.
And like boating kind of sucked back in the day.
But I also, when you said $2.50, I just thought of like a little tow boy just sinking to the bottom of the lake. That's really
Just a
funny.
little plastic thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, what's the answer?
1,500. So Devin was closest.
Hell yeah! Let's go.
How
Suck
dare
it.
you.
Well, you also have to think of like how long Lake Michigan has been here, and
Exactly.
like Devin said, the history of boating, and
Fair.
I think it doesn't have the most out of all of the Great Lakes,
I
but
feel like Lake Superior would be the worst.
Lake Superior has more bodies.
It is superior.
Yeah.
Superior in body count, and like it's so cold that like nobody has decayed.
Decomposed.
Holly jolly.
We love talking about corpses for Christmas.
So,
Sounds like a good
A Corpse for Christmas.
the next Hallmark movie.
Hallmark presents.
I also thought about Corpses for Christmas being like 1800s. A doctor like really needs to like figure out the anatomy of a person, but can't find a body. And then his wife is like, "I brought you a corpse for Christmas."
But I sold all my surgical equipment to get you.
And that would be amazing.
Mm-hmm. So before I get into my big, like, what do you know winking moment, I need to describe 3 scenes to you.
Okay.
Kind of like A Christmas Carol.
Hey.
Holly jolly. The first scene, we're thinking like late 1912, maybe early 1913.
Okay.
Okay, set the scene here. We are in Sheboygan, Wisconsin.
Yeah, we are.
Scenic and beautiful Sheboygan. A young boy is walking along the shore of Lake Michigan, and he finds a message in a bottle that has washed ashore.
Okay.
Instead of a usual cork, it is filled and closed with like a chunk of pine tree. So real weird.
Okay.
Takes it out and he reads it, and the message is as follows. Friday, everybody goodbye. I guess we are all through.
Oh no!
It gets worse.
Oh, good.
Holly jolly.
Uh-huh.
During the night, the small boat washed overboard, leaking bad. Invald and Steve lost 2. God help us.
Oh,
Jesus.
Holly jolly for like, I imagine like a newsy boy like
right.
finds
Then
this,
dancing away.
is so excited to
leaping,
find literally a message in a bottle. It is, we're all dead. We're all fucked. Now we're gonna go to 1924.
Okay.
Off the shores of Lake Michigan, a fishing vessel is pulling up their nets from the depths, and among all the fish, they find a wallet. It is perfectly preserved because it's made out of oilskin, which is that waterproof, old-timey material that sailors would use. Inside the wallet, there were business cards, newspaper clippings, and an expense memorandum. I don't know what they necessarily said, but they found a wallet. Then in 1971, again, off the shores of Lake Michigan, near Two Rivers, Wisconsin, Gordon Kent Belrichard, a diver and maritime archaeologist, is using sonar. He's trying to find this ship called the Vernon. It's 177 feet, 700-ton steamer that sank in October of 1887. So he's out there looking for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
He had heard people in the area say, from the fishermen say in the area, like, our nets keep getting snagged on something down there. I think it's the Vernon. So he's like, I'm going to go find it for us. He is sonaring away. He's diving away.
As you do.
He's the main light like goes out because he's been out there for so long. So he's using essentially like an underwater flashlight-ish kind of thing.
Okay.
Camera light, whatever. But there, 172 feet below the surface, he actually discovered the wreckage of the Rouse Simmons, which was the infamous Christmas tree ship that sank in November of 1912.
Oh.
Okay.
I'm starting to pick up the clues.
Christmas tree ship.
Christmas tree ship.
All right.
Well, the bottle, and it was shoved not with a cork, but with
Pine tree.
Pine.
tree.
Oh.
Jesus, Devin.
I was really bad at clues.
Remind me to never go into an escape room with you.
I majored in storytelling. So, what do you guys know about Captain Herman Schooneman, the Rouse Simmons, and the year that Chicago newspapers called the Year Without Christmas?
Nothing.
I want to say that we briefly talked about this on our way to a trivia night with your mom.
Yeah, we did.
I don't think it was a very in-depth conversation, but it sounded a little bit familiar, and I'm excited to hear more of the holly jolly details.
Amazing.
Yeah, so that's exactly right. We were going to a trivia night at my mom's school, and like they had mentioned something about it on the radio, and my sister was like, what the fuck did you just say? And like kind of went through it, but we were also having a great time in the car, messing with my mom. So I didn't think that he would remember the details, so I got to
I sure don't.
get away with all of this. I also was laughing earlier when you said like A Corpse for Christmas is a Hallmark movie. I think The Year Without Christmas.
It's also
Yeah,
Hallmark.
that's part 2.
I will say that when I was like looking into this and like doing a lot about it, somebody wrote a musical about this.
What?
About the Christmas tree ship?
Uh-huh.
What's it called?
It's called The Rouse Simmons.
Oh. So not a good musical.
I think the musical.
Oh.
And like knowing the story, I could not understand how we made a musical about this. But also like we have a Titanic. I think there's a musical
There is
for
a Titanic
Titanic.
musical,
So
yeah.
like,
Oh shit.
But there's more, I don't know, there's more involved, and like they bring in like
yeah.
more James
real
Cameron
iceberg?
storyline. You
Oh.
know what I mean? There's a
Yeah.
real iceberg. Every night
Real
they
iceberg.
construct. Yeah. And throughout the show it melts.
It's like the they do the same like Phantom of the Opera
The
chandelier
chandelier,
drop.
yeah.
They drop an iceberg.
Just completely shatters upon impact.
People are cold the whole time. They don't know why. Cool. So I will walk you guys through a little bit about the Christmas tree ship here.
Yeah.
So
Okay, yeah.
the Rouse Simmons is the name of the ship. It's named after, like, I think he was a congressman. He was a businessman first, and then he became a politician in Wisconsin. I don't know if he was, like, a big or a small politician, but he was big enough that they named a ship after him.
Sure.
It was built in Milwaukee in 1868 by Allen McClelland and Company. So I feel bad for the people that aren't named.
Or just and company.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm Company. She was a 124-foot, 3-masted schooner that used wind to get where it was going. So whenever you imagine, like, an old ship,
That's what it was.
there you go.
Got it.
After being built, it was purchased by Charles H. Hackley of Muskegon, Michigan, where he used it to deliver lumber from Michigan to other places along Lake Michigan.
Okay.
How many times are we going to say
Michigan.
Michigan and
yeah.
Wisconsin and hopefully not get them confused? So Hackley had this boat. I should say a ship is different than a boat. He had the boat for 20 years. Then it kind of exchanged hands over the next couple years to different companies and ports and whoever needed a ship. They called ships like this, I had to say, it's so funny, they called them tramp ships.
Excuse me? Oh my god, covered in fishnet?
Covered in fishnet. A woman in every port. Tramp ships. So, yeah, we don't have time to dive into that, but they were called tramp ships.
Okay.
So Herman Schooneman bought interest in this ship in 1910. Then he bought more interest in the Rouse Simmons in 1912. Herman and his brother August had started selling Christmas trees in 1890. They started investing in other ships and kind of coordinating the delivery of Christmas trees. Christmas trees around this time were only starting to get popular in the United States because of, like, German influence, and we had more people from Germany moving into town. And,
okay, that makes sense.
Like, Wisconsin and Michigan and everywhere up north has Christmas tree farms and everything like that. Right. So that's kind of where that all kind of plays in.
Heavy German influence up there as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And I mean, Herman and August Schünemann
might have something to say about it.
Might have something about that. During this time, Chicago was one of the largest shipping ports in the entire world because of everything going on in the Midwest at that time. So a lot of lumber, other goods that you can really only get out here. The ships on the Great Lakes would transport goods, like I said, from like northern Wisconsin, the Upper Peninsula, down to Chicago, and then they would go out to wherever they were supposed to go to.
Right.
Typically, the whole trip from like up north to here took about a week, because there also weren't a lot of like steam and gas powered boats that much out here.
Yeah.
They were more for like those bigger spaces of water and stuff like that.
Got it.
Sadly, in 1898, August passed away aboard a boat called the S. Thal, where it went down in a storm near Glencoe, Illinois.
Oh.
So
I don't think I realized Glencoe was close to the lake.
It is either, and I'm gonna get in trouble by all of our fans in Glencoe, it's either like the closest town to where this went down, or it's on the actual
got it.
shore. You know what I mean?
I mean, it probably is. I just, like, in my head, it was more,
Sorry, Glencoe fans.
Everything that is not Chicago, including, like, Evanston and everywhere, I'm like, oh, it's, like, not anywhere near the
it's
lake.
more west.
But also when me and my friend went up to Milwaukee and we saw the lake, I asked out loud what lake that was that they had in Milwaukee. And my friend just very sadly went, it's the same one that we have. So my concept of how big Lake Michigan is, if we're going to make fun of Nick, is like worse. I'm like, just the like 10 miles of coast that we have. That's all Lake Michigan is. Obviously, like, the Schünemann brothers weren't the only ones that could possibly be selling Christmas trees. In my opinion, Herman was kind of like a showman, kind of a dramatic person. I will argue for this half of the story that he might have been a little anti-capitalist, so that Devin likes him a little bit more. Let's go! The people of Chicago, so like they would come in and they would sell the trees to the people in Chicago. They would drive them down here because obviously everybody up north can just go in their backyards and get their own Christmas tree.
Right.
You have to ship them here. They called him Captain Santa because he would
Amazing.
He would do the whole voyage. He would deck his boat, LOL, with the new electric Christmas lights that had just kind of been invented. He had a Christmas tree on the mast looking like an ornament or like a tree topper. Since he sold these directly to people and not like to a place that would then sell them, he could obviously charge less for them. So he would charge in like 50 cents to $1 for all of his Christmas trees. Today's money, that's like $65 a tree.
Oh, wow.
That's still cheap.
That's great.
Right.
Yeah.
So very man of the people here. He would also give away Christmas trees to like needy families so that they could still have them. So that's the holly jolly.
Oh, I love this guy.
He's Captain Santa.
I love Captain Santa. He's a great guy. His big slogan for his operation, he would also sell them from the Clark Street Bridge.
Oh.
So that's kind of where he would like ride into town, park at the Clark Street Bridge, and everybody could access him a little bit better too, and see the whole spectacle of this, the Rouse Simmons. The slogan for his entire operation was "Christmas tree ship, my prices are the lowest."
He's not wrong.
Right, he's straight to the point.
Right, so it's like we don't need to be super fun with our slogans at the time. We're very straight to the point.
Right.
I don't have time for this. It took me a week to get here.
Right.
My prices are the lowest.
The ad game hadn't really come into play yet.
No, Don Draper was not even a concept yet. Typically, kind of jumping to more other facts about the time, November on the Great Lakes was not a great time to sail. Seasons are changing, the weather's changing. Notorious for violent storms that would often like capsize boats. Interesting. Like his brother August. Yeah.
I also just like I can't picture like an intense like sea storm on Lake Michigan.
Oh yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like the most that we see is like kind of like intense waves in the sense of just like there's multitude and you're kind of crashing against, but like nothing crazy to what you see on the oceans. And so I'm just like, that's wild.
It's intense.
It's a huge,
it gets rowdy out there.
No, I know.
But I get what you mean. It's like I only think of Lake Michigan as attached to Chicago, and you don't think about how big it is.
I don't think of it like we never like have seen like the middle of Lake Michigan. You know what I mean?
Part, yeah.
Yeah, like you kind of see videos and things like that of like the ocean and like hurricanes and all of that. Like you don't really see that captured. At least I haven't. Of Lake Michigan.
There's 1,500 boats down there. They had to get there somehow. R.I.P. everybody on board. But November of 1912 was very quiet. There had only been one storm in the beginning of the month. It was a major storm, but it was more in southeast Michigan, northwest Ohio. So it wasn't even really something on our radar, but they didn't have radar back then. No one was worried. Basically. There had been very heavy snowstorms, though, inland. Like all of the Christmas tree farms in Wisconsin and Michigan were snowed in. They were packed. Christmas tree shortage. Most of the other people that were selling Christmas trees kind of like already wrote that year off. They're like, we can't even get up to the farms to get these trees. We can't do anything. We're, giving up here. Not Herman, though. And Thompson,
not Herman.
Not
Captain Santa. He's a man of the people. So in Thompson Harbor near Manistee, Wisconsin, November 22nd. So like we've made it basically the whole month with no inclement weather on the lakes. He packed the Rouse Simmons with about 5,500 trees crammed anywhere and everywhere that they could fit.
It's a lot of trees.
It is a lot of trees, but nobody else had been making it down there.
Sure.
So where now I will argue that maybe he was a little bit of a capitalist, was like, I'll say he was doing this to go to Chicago to spread Christmas cheer.
Saving Christmas.
Yeah.
Saving Christmas, Captain Santa, but Herman Schneemann was like believed to have some money issues, so he really needed to go and sell these trees.
He went hard.
Yeah. There's nothing that says he was going to upcharge for trees, so we can... But there also is nothing that says he wasn't going to do that. So we'll go the holly jolly route of Captain Santa wanted to save Christmas for Chicago. November 22nd, the weather kind of wasn't super great. It was starting to look like it would get worse. A storm was forming somewhere. A lot of ships that were in the area were docking or anchoring close to shore to kind of ride this out. We didn't know what it was going to look like, so we're just going to hang out here for a little bit.
Yeah.
Some sailors even refused to board the Rouse Simmons because they said that it was unseaworthy, but like unlakeworthy is a better term here. Sure. 2 years before that, the boat had already been towed to shore because it was found like riding very low in the water.
Oh.
So they were like, I don't know about this boat. There was also a rumor that like there was supposed to only be 13 crew members on board. So like that on top of the fact that it had been towed in, they were like, I will rather not get on this boat.
Sure.
Because we already have 13 people, the bad number, and also it's been towed to shore. And they're very superstitious folk out there. So nothing that, says because there were more than 13 people that ended up on the boat. But yeah, towed to shore, riding low. People were like, I don't know about this, and the weather's not super great. Doesn't seem safe.
Yeah.
Regardless, the journey to Chicago began at noon that day. And because there were so many trees on board, like we said, that's a ton of trees, the weight of the ship in total was slightly above the recommended weight for this boat.
It's all coming together.
Captain Santa.
Captain Santa's at it again.
Overzealous.
The rest of this story has kind of been pieced together based off of clues that were found and marine archaeologists kind of piecing together what was going on here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Because there would be no survivors of the final voyage of the Rouse Simmons after it left there that day. What other ship sank in 1912? Maybe
the Titanic.
April of 1912. Yeah, it was a
banner
year. Banner year.
Banner year. For ships sinking.
And how come Downton Abbey didn't open up with the sinking of the Rouse?
Downton Abbey had to open with the sinking of the Titanic because her cousin and uncle were on the Titanic, and he was supposed to be the Crowley heir, and she was supposed to marry her cousin.
Yeah, but Captain Santa dies.
Yeah, but he's not a Crowley.
Or
we could
was
talk.
he? Yeah.
I can come back another day, and we can just do Downton Abbey, and I'll cry. I might cry at the end of this one, but I'll definitely cry talking about Downton Abbey. So the night that the boat had left, the storm obviously formed, and it was a bad one. We had all month to figure out a bad storm. 60-mile-an-hour winds were crashing into the boat, and the waves were increasing in size and slamming into the hull. 2 sailors, Frank and Invald, were sent to check on the lashings, which are the ropes that hold the anchor in place, and you can use it to put the anchor down. They were sent on deck to go check out the lashings. At the same time that they were doing that, a giant wave hits the ship. It takes a few trees, the small boat, which is the lifeboat, and Frank and Invald overboard.
Oh no, Frank.
From the note
You're supposed to say,
found.
oh no, Invald.
Invald.
Oh no, Invald.
Remember your lines. Rehearse, guys.
Jesus.
The good part of that happening was it kind of made the boat a little lighter.
Yeah. So yeah.
Oh god.
The holly jolly side of this is that the boat's a little lighter now.
Okay.
And we know for, I guess, with speculation of knowing if Frank and Invald floated on a tree or got on the boat and just didn't come back to be part of the Christmas tree shipping industry.
Sure.
In the Hallmark A Year Without Christmas.
Yeah.
Frank and Invald had their Titanic moment, but they each had a tree and they were kick.
And then they wash up to shore and they have amnesia and they fall in love with this small town women.
Yes.
Oh, yes. I was hoping that they would fall in love with each other.
Both.
Because of it's there's such a
They had to hide it. It's 1912.
The conflict.
Right.
The conflict is they really want to love each other, but yeah, it's 1912.
That's
they don't understand.
Abbey. We start with the sinking of this ship, and we have a whole new story of Frank and Invald living their lives in Sheboygan, Wisconsin. Bringing you back to Sheboygan.
Full circle, quest left.
They hear about that boy that found the message in a bottle, and they were like, well, that's really fucking creepy. Why are our names on there? Must be another Frank and Invald.
Open up a new page document. Here we go. We open. Crash of the lake.
Hey, what are those 2 guys over there doing?
Amazing.
So the ship is lighter because of everything and everyone that had been vaulted overboard.
Yeah.
So Captain Herman was able to navigate the boat a little bit better and kind of realized this probably isn't the best situation to be happening right now. Let's turn around. Let's go to shore. Let's go to the town.
Oh, okay.
Nearest town. And that was Bailey's Harbor, Wisconsin.
Okay.
So we haven't really made it super far, but also we weren't really far into Wisconsin anyway, but
Sure.
we're still not in Illinois. Before they can get super far from where they were, the storm got even worse. The winds continued to slam into the hull. The mizzen mast snapped off entirely.
Oh my god.
The main mast was blown forward, so it snapped but wasn't off yet. And because of all of the waves that have been crashing into the boat, ice was starting to form on all of the trees. Because they were on deck, under deck, everywhere they could find a tree.
Weight.
And that added weight. The boat was heavier than when it originally left. So Frank and Invald and the boat and those first batch of trees
did not help.
It helped, and then it got worse because now everything is frozen.
Jesus.
So the next day, 12:50 p.m., a surfman at the Kewanee Life-Saving Station spots the Rouse Simmons in the water. It's riding very low. The flag is at half-mast, a signal of distress. He alerts his station keeper, so his boss, and is like, there's this boat. We gotta go help them. And he's like, well, our gas tugboat is already occupied. It's been called out to another one. We have to call the next station and get their boat out there. So they call the next station. They say, this is where we saw it. Go check it out. By the time that boat could get there, you couldn't see any boats. There were no boats in sight.
Oh, wow.
It had completely gone under.
Whoa.
Rescue mission, huge failure.
Do we know, like, roughly the amount of time from calling that town to them getting there? Like, how quickly that
Like,
would have
under
happened?
an hour. Because, the
wow.
towns are all very close
along
there. Like, under an hour. Like, 2:50 is when he saw it. By, 4 o'clock, they were like, there's nothing here.
Whoa.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Ooh.
It
Holly,
can happen quickly.
Holly jolly. The only evidence of this boat wreck was the message written in a bottle found in Sheboygan, washed ashore.
Okay.
On Christmas Day, which is a little dark, wreckage and some Christmas trees were washed ashore in Pentwater, Michigan. Pentwater, Wisconsin. I told you I messed this up. Pentwater, Wisconsin, Christmas Day, some wreckage and shit and trees washed ashore, and they were like, oh, we know what this is from.
Yikes.
And a wallet belonging to Captain Schuneman was found in fishing nets in a local fishing vessel.
Yeah.
So that was his wallet that they found
earlier.
After its discovery by maritime archaeologist Gordon Kent Belrichard in 1971, they were kind of able to investigate and piece some more things together. Also, most of the trees are still fully preserved on this boat.
I was going to ask.
Yeah, it's spooky pictures. It's a very haunting, because it's an underwater picture anyway. It's going to be haunting, but then it's also full of Christmas trees. Perfectly preserved under the deck on this ship. Obviously, the ones that were above deck were the ones that floated up. They did take some of the trees for exhibits and we found this is cool, we dug this up. But they're mostly all still down there. The ship's wheel was removed and is on display in the Rogers Street Fishing Village Museum in Two Rivers, Wisconsin. So kind of where...
Sounds like a road trip.
Sounds like a road trip. We're going there today.
Come with us.
I got a sailor outfits too. And then the anchor was also retrieved, and it stands at the Milwaukee Yacht Club entrance. It's what's used for the entrance. It's anchor sign.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd want the anchor of a sunken ship to be sunken boat. To be the symbol of my yacht club. I'm going out on my yachts. I don't want this bad luck symbol to be part of my thing.
I'm with you. Also, it just seems in bad taste. So
I was really annoyed. I was really annoyed when I saw that. I was like, leave it there. But the reason why they were able to get the anchor is they found the anchor well away from the boat.
Oh.
So what they think that happened, they think that the boat was also facing the wrong direction. It wasn't still aimed towards Chicago. It was aimed towards that town they tried to go to.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what they kind of pieced together that happened here was Frank and Ingvald went to go make sure the anchor could be dropped. They tried to go towards that town, and the anchor snapped off.
Oh.
And
got it.
So a lot of things kind of just went wrong at the same time.
Yeah.
So that's why the anchor, they didn't even have to get it off the boat. They just looked a little bit the other way, and they're this anchor.
There's the anchor.
Yeah.
There's the anchor. Also 3 other boats did go down that night as well. So that's where that other boat was already dispatched off to.
Okay.
4 ships in total sank during that storm.
Jesus.
Which is insane. So to end this whole
on a happy note, I hope.
A happy note and maybe a little bit of a spooky note, because I did have to find a story that I could and I like spooky ghost stories, not in a scary way, not in a your episode kind of way. That was terrifying, but in ooh, it was spooky kind of way. So I opened it with 3 different scenes. I will now end this with 3 different scenes.
Oh.
I will
You went to
end
school
this.
for storytelling.
Yeah.
Barbara Schöneman, Herman's wife, and their 2 daughters continue to sell Christmas trees from a docked schooner at the Clark Street Bridge.
Oh.
I'm very proud of myself. When I was practicing this, like, couldn't stop crying. At just like, yeah. They kept selling Christmas trees that way. They wouldn't sail the boat down. They would do a different boat, but they like kind of always had a boat at the Clark Street Bridge.
That's so cute.
The next scene is Coast Guard ships in northern Wisconsin being packed up again with Christmas trees for a remembrance voyage to Chicago in honor of the 17 lives that were lost on the Rouse Simmons.
Oh. Wow.
I think they might still do this, or they do it on like the 5s, like the anniversaries.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Which is why I think we heard about it in the car last year. I think it was like a big one.
Okay.
But also I know it's the Coast Guard and then the tall ship Windy that do this.
Oh.
So that's the pirate ship at Navy Pier.
Okay.
They do it, I think the Coast Guard brings it to the Windy. And then they sell Christmas trees.
That's
Navy
cute.
Pier. Yeah.
I mean, that would make sense. Last year would have been the, 110th anniversary?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's why we heard a glimpse of it on the radio and what? The final scene.
Yeah.
The residents of Two Rivers, Wisconsin gather on Point Beach late on Christmas Eve or early Christmas morning to catch a glimpse of an old schooner with tattered sails sailing on the waters, filled with Christmas trees.
Wow.
A warm glow as if from a lantern comes from where the wheel would have been. A bell can often be heard offshore. The boat sails off and fades away until next Christmas.
What?
That supposedly happens every year?
That's
Ooh.
wild.
So, like, I know you guys probably have plans. Well, I know we have plans, but I know that you probably have plans.
But that's a quick road trip.
It's a quick road
Yeah,
trip. I'm
overnighter.
sure
Yeah.
it would be so cute. And that is the story of the year without Christmas.
Wow.
That's crazy. I had no idea.
Yeah.
What a sad story.
But we'll
jolly.
make it happy.
It's happy.
Yeah.
They kept selling Christmas trees in their dad
Yeah.
and their uncle's honor. The Coast Guard does stuff.
That's true.
Yeah, see? All the silver linings.
I'd say it's cool that the ghost ship is still there, but also it's sad that these souls have not been able to pass on.
Yeah. It is crazy that the trees are perfectly preserved still. Underneath.
Yeah.
Like that's
That's
eerie.
wild.
That's when you see the photos of like underground kind of forests or under river forests and stuff like that. You're like, oh,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
Well, it's perfectly preserved. It's just like the bodies in Lake Superior.
Yeah,
It's so cold.
that everything's just
It just
frozen.
stays.
Yeah, frozen in time. The third Hallmark
Rouse.
special. We have a whole series happening.
Perfect.
Yeah. Well, thank you for taking us through that,
You guys
Allie.
are so welcome.
Yeah,
Sorry to
that
be a
was
little
wild.
bit of a down, but
It's the perfect way to start the festive holiday season.
well, now like because this is an early December episode, like you
Yeah.
can like, oh, what a bummer. But then like all the fun Christmas stuff starts to happen.
Uplifting.
So it's
yeah.
and now you have something to talk about at like
And all the
work
Christmas
parties
Yeah.
and all of that crazy stuff.
Hey,
You know,
did you
and
know all these people died?
I've already been looking for my topics to discuss at work functions coming up in a month.
I'm just imagining like myself at my work Christmas party, like already so manic because I get to be around people, and I'm just like, did you know that all these people died? Like,
I'm actually imagining you standing in front of a Christmas tree with a flashlight under your face. People are like, this is very strange.
because usually it's like the town hall with our HR VP, and so she's like giving updates, and I'll be like, hey, I have something I want to say, and then like,
Did you know November
Did you
of
know?
1912?
And like you just hit play and like an eerie ship bell rings in
Yeah.
the background while you're telling the story.
But then Devin and I are behind you with like special effects. Yeah. That's perfect.
Yeah.
We'll work on it. We'll work on it. Yeah. We'll
make
workshop it.
Yeah, we have. I think it's on December 13th, so we have
plenty of time.
Yeah.
plenty of time.
All right. Well, thank you for stopping
You
by
guys
and
are
for
so
being our
welcome.
next
Thank
guest.
you for having me.
Yeah, Yeah, this was
you.
fun. Thank you.
guys
And
are
I also
fun.
love your shark sweater.
Thank you, shark's one of my favorite animals. So I saw this years ago and I had to have it. So
It's beautiful.
Thank you
Wear
so
it
much.
always.
Thank you for wearing your festive sweaters and
Of
letting me
course.
burn a festive candle in here. The 4D experience.
To bring the ambiance.
the pine
yeah.
candle. So
Ah, I see what you did there.
Oh wow,
I went
that was
to
so
s-
smart.
I went to school for storytelling.
Amazing.
Wow.
All right, everyone. Thank you for sticking with us. You can like, follow, subscribe at all of our channels. Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and Twitter at WDYK_podcast.
We were reduced.
Yeah.
They're all the same now.
Yeah, exactly. We realized, 25 episodes in that maybe we should make a change, but we got there. So, all right. Well, thank you. Thank you, Allie. Thank
Thanks,
you, Dennis.
Al.
You guys
All
are
right.
so welcome.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.